go. I have this already. Okay, I'm just gonna. Okay, somebody's here. Yes. Guess I don't have to read my poetry if somebody's already here. Unless you can. No, maybe I will just anyway. To get till a couple more people show up. Okay, this is a poem I wrote in 2002. And I'm going to just say it's adieu. I held a sacred place for you that you may no longer enter. You violated that trusting space. I bid you for farewell. That you could call me special when there were others to whom you probably uttered the same sweet nothings. I say goodbye. Now that the breach has been broken, I forgive you just the same. To carry on as you must, and I too. Bon voyage. Adieu. Okay, who we got here? Anyone want to say anything? Tell me if my sound is okay. Whoever's here can help me. Make sure you can hear me. Is that better? Can you hear me? Okay. Before I get started on the topic that I want to talk about, does anyone know about tesseract, what that means? Or I know it's 3 and 4th dimensional presentations of something, but I don't know exactly when it's used or how it's used or why it's used. So if anyone, hi Charlie, hi Josh, how you doing? So anyone know what that tesseract means or how to explain it for this tech-tard that doesn't know much about? I don't know. It's not really technology. It's more like, I don't even know that it would be considered sacred geometry, but it's taking a 3-dimensional object and making it 4-dimensional. But if anyone, hi Ray, I don't know if anyone has any info to help me understand that better. And I admit, I don't know everything, that's for sure. People think that just because you say you're intelligent or you talk about something, then they find something you don't know about. And there's a lot of things I don't know about. You can't know everything. And I do know a lot of stuff. So anyone have any input on that at all? Or we could just get into all the goo and want to talk about where this, what am I going to use for a hobo code word? The gray phenol. Anyone know about it or what's? I know it's like in the foods. It's just like becoming ubiquitous, I guess. Ubiquitous means everywhere. You don't know. I don't know nothing. Man, there's so much shit we don't know. It's like I'm still in shock from all the things that I have encountered and learned about in the last 5 years. It just blows me away. I thought I knew a lot, but then I realized how much I didn't know. Hi, Dr. Boss. You used to be Boss Awkwards. Did you change your name? That's a good one. I heard it through the grapevine. I call it a grapevine. Just like, what's the other word? Like grape without the G's. That's a lot of people are using that to talk about. Oh no. I hope my laptop isn't going down now because I mean, not this minute, but I think it's just starting to, it's flashing a lot, and I think I have to have it serviced or something. And I still have Windows 7 on here, and I just do not want to update to these newer frequencies or whatever it is, because every time I do an update, it just seems like it never fails, that there's always problems, and I wished I hadn't done it. So I stopped at Windows 7. But right now there's things flashing on the screen, and you could probably see them, because I think I went back and tried to see if I could see it on the replay, if it, and I think it did. Okay, Ray is saying Madeline L'Engle describes the tesseract as a shortcut between three-dimensional places in her 1962 book, A Wrinkle in Time. Oh, okay. I never read that, or there's also a movie for that, wasn't there? So I was looking through some of my poetry and writings I did, like I was in classes too for I don't know what, this was college English, I guess. And I'm surprised. Well, I'm not totally surprised, but this was over 20 years ago, and I was writing about some of the things that people just now waking up to, all the way back then, or like right after the whole 11/9 thing. What is it backwards? Well, that's the first part of it, right? Tesser, the act, Tesser, reset act. When Ray says, when I leave a comment on a video now, YouTube tells me to make sure I check community guidelines before leaving the comment. Oh my God. They're getting ridiculous with this shit. Really. And I'm sure, have you guys gotten like strikes or putting time out for saying something they don't approve of? So that's happened to me a few times, but I haven't seen them make you check the comment. I usually check my comments just to see, because I know, I have noticed, and I think other people have said it too, where I'd be typing something and then I look and it's like, there's no way I typed that word. And it's a different word. Like they'll change one or two letters of it, and I have to go back, because I notice people leaving comments and it's making them look stupid, because they're not checking to see, to like proofread their own comments to see that it's, I mean, it's easy to make a mistake or a typo, but even the, what do you call it, the spell check things, they're doing it wrong on purpose. Like they're spelling there, and there, which have 3 different spellings, and they're putting up the wrong ones. And they're making plurals with, what do you call the, not apostrophe, yeah, it's the apostrophe, like to denote, and like usually it means a letter is left out. So if they're saying like a plural, or they're saying putting an S on with the apostrophe when somebody's trying to make a plural of a word just by adding an S, and they're putting apostrophe S, which is a possessive, means it's belongs to somebody, like cat's book will have a thing in it, and they're leaving out the apostrophe when it should be left in there, and putting it in when it shouldn't be there. So is anybody noticing this? I mean, I'm really good at English, and a lot of people are now like just abbreviating everything, or just putting the letters like you're supposed to know. There's some like in real life, IRL, or IDK, saying I don't know, which are common now, but people are just doing it, and in their mind they know what they mean, but it doesn't read that way. You have to try to figure out what the hell they're talking about. Okay, let me see. Yeah, I know I get the disappearing comments too a lot of the times, but also I noticed that when like I leave the comment and then I'll hit like newest to get it to redo or something like that, and I'll hit on the page that it's on, and it'll totally disappear. But then I do it again and it comes back. So it's hard to say if they're staying or not. English is a pretty fucked up language. It's really black magic spells all over the place. And you, just like he was saying about reading, spelling things backwards or listening to music backwards, with their satanic whatever shit. Some of this stuff I don't even think it's, because I've been trying to study up on LaVey and the whole thing and stuff. A lot of that stuff is just nonsense. I don't think it's all real. I think they just want people to be freaked out and scared. And it's just more of their propaganda and fear porn to control the masses. Okay, Josh says, my favorite thing is when you have to fight over the proofreader on how to spell a certain word. You'll spell the word and it wants to correct you, and you're probably right when they did it, and change it to what it thinks is the right word. But I don't think it thinks it's the right word. I think it's programmed to be the wrong word. You're probably right in the first place. Because I know some of you people are pretty good at spelling and the English language in general. But God, when I'm reading through comments under people, like it's usually dumbed down channels, though. The more awake or enlightened or whatever you want to call the word that the content creator, whoever's channel it is, they generally attract people who are intelligent also. So you go to these other ones that are just purely entertainment and they're not really teaching you anything, or they're just making fun of all the idiocracy and stuff like that. And the people in there leaving comments do not know how to talk. They do not know how to use punctuation. They just do run-on sentences, and you're supposed to figure out what they mean, where their one thought stopped and another one started. And it's just a big, you can't make sense of it, because it could be part of the first sentence that they didn't put a period, or it could be the beginning of the next sentence. So you can't really tell like what they're describing, because you don't know which part of their whole big run-on sentence they're talking about. Okay, Dr. Bass says, or when you misspelled something enough times, the predictor word will put up that misspelling as though it's a word to use. Yeah, I guess you're like training the AI. People have been training the AI. I haven't been using predictive text at all. I want to use my own mind. I don't want to depend on, you know what I'm saying. Hi, Aurelia. No, I haven't tried to. This is something YouTube does to everybody. It's not just me. We need a new language to talk. Yeah, like a hobo code to just communicate what we want to get across without the algos picking it up. So it's got to be, I don't know how much different it has to be. Does anyone know? Does anyone know? Whoa, well, I'm resting on something here. No way. Okay. Okay. Josh says, I think a lot of commentators are actually bots. Yeah, I think so too, especially on the bigger channels. These bigger channels, are not going to give you good information if they've got a zillion subs and they're saying whatever and they're not getting strikes or anything. I mean, you probably know by now. Do you have a channel? Do you have a channel, Aurelia? I don't. Oh, who's? Oh, hi there, Jared. Infinity corridors. What does the 108 have any significance? Or you don't have to tell me if you don't. Oh, you mean just leaving comment somewhere. They all, is that use MSM anyway? Oh, okay. I don't know about that. Well, glad you came. So, who wants to? Do you have any input on the? What did we just call it already? I forgot. Okay, so I see. What do you think about the graphene oxide? I'm just gonna say it because whatever. If they, I think this is one of the big things that is not being talked about, and it's in so many things. It's part of something that's been going on for a while. People don't realize this stuff isn't just starting now. I mean, it is in a way, but it's been in the works for a very long time. It didn't just come, well, like some of the things we're seeing did come on the scene, like in 2020 when everything kind of hit all at once. Well, yeah, I was trying to like make it not so obvious so I wouldn't get shut down right off the bat. But like maybe after we like talk about stuff, sometimes, okay, in the past, like not so much recently, but like a few months ago, it started like to shut down on me or give me all kind of problems, and I couldn't, like the whole video would just stop and it'd be over, and I couldn't get it to come up or whatever. The sky is, I have to push this up to make it so I can see it. So I'm just have to clear this. There's this like whole bunch of stuff on the side, right where the last comment is, right being blocked by the hearts and all those little emoji things. Well, that's what I'm talking about. I mean, there's a lot of different kind of oxides. It's just a form of a element. But the graphene is like what's in pencils. I don't have my pencil here, do I? Shoot. Well, inside, the old number 2 pencils that we have in school, already we were being introduced to that as kids. Kids eat pencils and stuff. But I think it's in the tats. I think it's maybe in the weed at the dispensaries, unless you're growing your own. I think it's in it's probably in the vapes too, but I wouldn't get tats, guys. I mean, maybe the older ones are not so bad, but now I wouldn't trust them at all because people are saying their phone rings and their skin vibrates. But I started hearing more about it like a few years ago. Really? What do they do, Ray? It's for Amazon. Okay. Infinity Quarters is saying, you guys experienced any psychic attacks when dealing with Amazon products? It's happened to me multiple times. Can you explain what you mean by that? Because I mean, I believe you. I'm not doubting you. I just want to know how they're manifesting, so you can explain to the rest of the people, the class, or whatever you want to call it. Okay, Dr. Bass says, heard that the exhaust from commercial airliners is mostly made of graphene, huh? Maybe. You know what? I don't know for this to be true, but I get the feeling that I don't think that airplanes use fuel to fly. I think they use fuel to taxi, to land and take off. to go down the runway like a car. But once they become airborne, I don't think they use gas or any kind of stuff like that. Okay, so does anyone agree with that or know of anything? Because the technology, how old is airplane technology or jets, whatever? I mean, that's been around for quite a while. I think, does anyone agree that they don't need fuel to fly? Where are all the, where are they storing all this massive amounts of fuel? Why don't we see like trucks or whatever? How, or do they pipe it in, or where are all the pumps? How do they get it into the plane? Where is all the, just where is it? We never see any evidence of it. Okay, so so you're talking about Sabrina Wallace is talking about the graphene oxide. I wouldn't doubt it. She knows a lot of stuff. I'm like curious, like how is she being allowed to release all this information without being taken down? Man, I am attacked just for the stuff I say, and I'm not even saying anything to the degree that she is. She I believe worked in that field and didn't know what she was doing or contributing to the problem until she realized it, and then she backed out of it somehow. But she said she was raised, I don't know if she was raised military or brat or whatever, but she has connections. She was literally working for them, and now she's like whistleblowing. So these, most of the whistleblowers I don't trust. So I'm just curious about Sabrina. How is she getting away with saying the stuff she's saying and not being taken out? Most people who talk like that get taken out. Yeah, I understand the old tech and they're reinventing it, but and they are, but they're telling us it's other things, right? Or it's what it used to be when it's something new. It could be the other way around. They're, like they're just always propaganda, us to death. You're a certified goofball. Well, that's a good way to be. To take this world serious is a joke. Now, if you realize that the idiocracy and the things that they're doing right under our noses, I mean, most of us, like you guys here, see it, but most people don't. I've been asking a lot of people in the neighborhood, which my neighborhood, they're trying to tell me to go to another city. They're changing the laws. I can't park in the whole area. Like, oh, this is a new zone, they said. It's outside of a shopping center and it's a new zone. And I have to go find a place. This cop literally followed me. First, he told me to move. And I said, no, wait a minute. Why can't I be here? And then he made me move and I moved. And I said, dude, you're making me drive around when I'm tired. I was asleep 2 hours ago until you came and woke me up. And now you want me to drive and I'm half awake. I thought you were here to protect my safety, but you want me to drive. And he goes, oh, well, then maybe you need to be checked out. If you can't drive, maybe we need to get you like some kind of a wellness check or something. They're waking me up after I've been asleep and wanting me to drive somewhere, and I don't know where I am, and it's in the dark, and I have really bad night vision anyway. Oh, I don't know how, I probably will slaughter your name. p0nry Michelson? There are simply no place for fuel inside airplanes. See, where do they store it in the plane and where do they store it outside the plane? I missed some of your comments in response to that. Yeah, real whistleblowers don't get an audience. because they're hidden. Like they're not going to just put them out there. And the fuel, how much the fuel would weigh the whole thing down. It would, I mean, it's already weighted with people and other gear and stuff like that. So you're going to put tons of fuel and weight it down even more. It just doesn't make any sense. They say the wings in the fuel, if it was in the wings, those wings would probably fall off from the weight. I mean, did you ever? I'm going to do it. I forgot to do it. I wanted to weigh like a gallon of water. Does anyone know? It's like so many pounds for a gallon of water. It's okay. Josh says it's sad that if you were from another country, they would have no problem with you staying in your vehicle and probably even help you get shelter and food. Oh, yeah, yeah. They're going to, I believe that these so called immigrants or whatever, migrants, are the future against us. They're bringing them in. They're men of military age, mostly men coming in. Not too many women and babies, not as much as the men. Does anybody think that or just know anything like or feel anything about that? Yeah, and that, plus there's people like women waiting to get hysterectomies and different kinds of things. They've been waiting for like 5 years. They're on a list, and then these trans come in and they just get their surgery right off the bat. There's no waiting. No, used to be you go at least a year of psychotherapy to make sure you wanted to change your stuff. And these poor people don't know that it's being done to them, and they think they're just going along with the download mind control. This is all part of the agenda. So like they're going to help all these so-called migrants to come in and giving them cell phones and places to live and brand new clothes and shoes, and they get like Nikes and the most expensive everything. And then at one point they were giving, I'm on Social Security and I get food stamps. They were giving me $68 a month for food stamps. And these people get what? They get like so much of the best of everything, while we don't. And I didn't live in this country my whole life, but I lived in Canada for a while. Okay, but since you are a refugee in your own country, no one cares. Yeah, it's like yesterday, I pulled in because I can't go where I was before, so I just kept driving around further outside of the neighborhood where I usually park, and just tried to find a decent place to park where I wouldn't be bothering anybody. And I thought I did, but just as I got settled in, I hear bang, 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 and I'm thinking, oh no, not the cops again. It was just somebody that lived in the neighborhood. They fucking think they own the street too. Just because they own a house doesn't mean they own the sidewalk or the road or all the parking places. I mean, I could have fought it, but I just said, I don't even want to be around these fucking zombies. Get me out of here. Any troops in disguise. I wouldn't doubt it. They're for them. Also, I started connecting all these UN words from the with the start with UN now, like unhoused, unhinged, just all these UN that words that started with UN, that not that they never were words, but just now all of a sudden they're in the forefront. And that's all. Yeah, that's all I got for food. And I was just figuring out today, because I just got them yesterday because I had to wait like a week to get them again. My milk alone, I spend it just went up to $13.29 a gallon for 1 gallon of raw milk that I used to get when I was in Gainesville, Florida. I got a whole gallon for $6.99, and now they're charging 13 something, like double the amount. I could get two gallons in Florida for what I get 1 gallon here. Well, they do have a cheaper one that's, you know, a couple dollars cheaper, but it's Jersey milk, a Jersey cow versus a Guernsey cow, and the Guernsey cow is by far the better. They're thicker, they're richer, they're more nutrients, they're just way better. Even in the market, when they're on the shelf, you could see the one next to the other. The one is like, the one that I like is like really yellow, like deep yellow, and then right next to the other one's whiter and more watery. You could literally see the difference between the two. How much raw milk do I drink a day? Probably close to a quart. So I go through 1.5 gallons a week. So yeah, so that would be like 7 liters. Yeah, so it's like a quart a day. So a quart and a liter are similar. They're almost the same size. So I think, let me see, I think a liter has a little bit more than a quart. I think a quart is 32 ounces and a liter is 33 ounces. I don't know. I always rejected the digital everything based on tens and ones and zeros. And I've always been more of the imperial, where they use, you know, quarts and pints and acres, and just the imperial system. So just my milk alone cost me $100 a month. And then my meat thing is another $100. So between those two right there is $200 a month. And that's what I get now because they raised it. Sorry. And then I drink also 1 gallon of my plasma water, which I got to drink some. I put 2 tablespoons in a gallon of water. So in this, I would put a teaspoon. This is just like a pint. I put a teaspoon in a pint, and then, but my morning one, I add an extra half a teaspoon to make it more intense, because then it triggers your purge, and it makes you go. So you want to do that. So you drink as much until you get the runs, and then you're purging out everything like from the day before. And I'll probably do this for the rest of my life. Is anybody else doing the plasma? This one thing alone will save people's lives. If that's the only thing you do, this is more important than food. It has your minerals. Every mineral you need is in this water. It's the sea salted water. I'm using various types. I'm using gray sea salt. And when I get the opportunity, I go harvest it from the ocean and then add water back to it. Some like distilled water into the water because it's way too salty. But to take the salt out of the water is just depriving you of what your body needs. Okay. Oh, hi, Rod. I almost missed you there. How you doing? Good to see you too. You mentioned you consist on raw milk as a major part of your diet. Can you tell us what are of the benefits, and what does it do to the body? Are you talking about the raw milk or the water? Because both of the raw milk is similar, is like plasma, but it has nutrition in it that this does not have. But raw milk, and people who say that they're lactose intolerant, that's only because they're sensitive to the milk that's been pasteurized and homogenized. If they drank raw milk, they wouldn't have those problems. So a lot of people say that they're on this diet or that diet, but there's like two sides to each diet because raw is way different than cooked. As soon as you cook something, you change the frequency. You change how good it is for you. It changes the color. It changes the smell. It coagulates. Like if you're cooking meat, it'll coagulate it. So the best way to do it is raw. But I'm still not able to eat raw meat, and I don't do any pork. And I don't know how people do raw pork if they do, but I don't. I don't do any pork at all because I know what it is, and I'm not on board this whole cannibalism agenda. I'm sure you guys know about this. Yeah, the goat milk is good. I don't have access to goat milk. I mean, where I get my milk, my not my milk, my eggs, my duck eggs, they have a goat, but they're not selling the milk. So that's the closest that I've seen where I possibly could get goat milk, but I could check around and maybe find out. I didn't go to the farmer's market today. I usually do go on Saturday to the farmer's market. Thanks for the thumbs up, guys. I guess that helps. I don't know. I don't really push people to sub and thumbs up and all that, but I mean, I guess it's good. I don't expect to ever be monetized by YouTube. For one thing, they're not letting me, but even if I did get to 1,000, like I'm not that far away. I'm just almost there, but I don't want their money. I don't want their evil, dirty money. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm trying to eat as close to raw. You eat raw liver, Ray. Ooh, how do you do it? And not a livery. So I hear it's sweet when you eat the liver uncooked. When it's raw, it's actually sweet. So I'm trying to get myself used to the idea. So when I have like my steak, I mean, I only allow myself steak once a week because I have to eat tenderloin because I have TMJ and I have missing teeth. That makes it hard for me to chew meat. I don't I don't know. Is it easier to chew when it's raw? When it's totally raw? Because I'm cooking it less and less, just kind of like searing it, and then it's still red in the middle. Okay, Rod, why don't you explain what the difference is for the peeps between goat milk and cow milk, both raw. They're both raw. So if we're talking about raw, I don't want to waste time talking about all the different foods that they present us that are not good for us. I'm trying to narrow it down to what's left of the foods that we can eat that are going to be healthy for us. So I left a comment somewhere yesterday or the day before, whatever, and saying that most of the food in the supermarket is addictive. So everybody's pretty much an addict, as they make fun of all the homeless addicts that are like gone. I mean, these people originally, I don't think they set out to like, oh, I'm going to be a drug addict. It doesn't start that way. People, a lot of people are suffering from abuse and especially childhood abuse, and they're acting it out because I did it myself. I was abused as a child. I was physically abused by my mother, sexually abused by my stepfather and multiple other family members. And I ended up acting it out as a heroin addict in the 80s. It started like in the late 90s and late 70s. So it was like 4 or 5 years. And then I actually quit. I went into a treatment center, got clean, and quit and stayed. I never shot up again. So, and look how healthy I am now at my age. I'm going to be 73 next month on the 10th of July. So, I'm doing something right. Aside from all these cuts that I get from the Morgellons, if you know what Morgellons is, this is not from meth. I never even did meth, and I just told you I did heroin, so why would I lie about meth? I've never done meth in my life. I don't like amphetamines. I like more like to be down more than, you know, than more narcotic type thing. Oh, hi, Ronald. How you doing? Got the mud bath going? I might come down sometime soon if I ever get all my shit taken care of here. I got to clear out my what do you call it? My storage unit, or get a smaller one, but I need help. I don't have a truck, and my daughter's in Canada, and she's, you know, stressed out with the baby, like, because he just started walking, and she's got to just keep following him all over the place. Well, when they're that age, it's really a handful, that's for sure. So you're saying the Ray. Okay, let me go back here. I'm getting lost here. What is she? Okay, it really wants to know what's in the raw milk that isn't present in pasteurized milk. Well, first of all the good nutrients are just trashed because of the heat. I just explained to you how heat changes the frequency of whatever it's applied to, and it just ruins the goodness of it. It takes away the nutritional element of it, and that's why it's also why people are, I don't know that they're allergic to it or just sensitive to it, but it's just all the processes. The more something is processed, the less good it is for you. Anything, I don't care what it is. The more processed or refined or anything it's, do you think, like animals, look at what they eat. They don't brush their teeth. They don't cook their food. They don't do all these things that we do. I actually lick my wounds, just like a dog would, or a cat, or any animal. They lick their wounds. We have enzymes and stuff in our saliva. You can read your saliva. If you have a farm where you do or grow anything, if you have seeds, and hopefully they're heirloom seeds, not these new GMO seeds or whatever, you take them and you put them in your mouth, under your tongue, and let it soak in your saliva for 9 minutes. That's the number of completion. And then you plant them, like, in the hole where you're going to plant them, cover them up, do not water them for 3 days, leave it in that saliva. And then after that, just water it like you normally would any other plant. And then that becomes your medicine. That is specifically designed for you based on your own DNA readings from the seeds, taking it in from your saliva. All right, so where were we? Yeah, my daughter was breastfeeding, and I think she might have stopped, or I knew she slowed down. I don't know if she totally stopped or not. But he's like almost a year and a half old. Yeah, he's almost another month. Will be a year and a half. So, what tastes good and milky? Milky sweet. Not the liver. Does it? Is it the liver? So you're talking about the liver tastes milky sweet. Okay. Because I heard someone say that it was really sweet, and I never tried it. I just bought some liver, and then I gave it to my friend for her cat. I don't think her cat's going to eat it, though, because I think her cat's strung out on the kibble. That's like the worst shit you could give your pets. If you cared about your pets, you would buy them fish and liver. Like, I don't know about the liver, though. Okay, I'm going to see what you guys think. Okay, if you have whatever, just say it's a cow's liver or whatever. If the cow is eating all the grass, that these heavy metals are falling down out of the sky from the chemtrails, right? And it's landing on everything, and it's going to be on the grass and everything, and they eat it, then they filter it out through their liver. So if the liver is a filtering organ, wouldn't it be the most concentrated in the liver? I don't know how, and I used to eat liver. I actually liked liver. I liked it with onions. And now I'm having a hard time to not eat. I love onions, and it's like not, it's not really, it's toxic. Garlic and all that stuff are healing things, but they're not meant to be eaten every day. Plus you build up a tolerance, and then when you do need them as a medicine, they're not going to work, or you have to do like twice as much or a whole bunch more. Food is the most widespread addiction, drug and poison. It is, and people don't want to hear that. People do not want to hear it. When I try to help people and tell them about anything, they just go, get out of here with that conspiracy nonsense. They still think of it as conspiracy when you're trying to help them. Like, it's just amazing. Yeah, it is pretty sad how the sexual abuse. Now they're doing some other shit. I don't know. Did what's his name leave? Jared, are you still here? Oh, we haven't. Jake is here. Hi, Jake. Okay, what is happening here? You eat it cold with salt. That's probably the best way to eat it. That's for sure. If you're gonna eat it. Oh. One time my cat ate kibble for dogs, and it crystallized its kidneys and it died. Oh my God, it actually died from it? Huh. I wonder what it did. Did you ever find out what it was in there that actually did it? Because I read, like, I've been reading, like, well, I started when I had my own cats, but then when I took them in, because they were from the streets, I rescued them, and I I took them off of that kibble. I guess the neighborhood people were just feeding whatever the cheapest thing is, and then they get used to that. So then I started feeding them like fish, liver, and things that they would like. The cats eat normally in nature and stuff. So my one cat, the mother, of course, she's the older one, and she's probably the one more strung out on that shit. She got so mad at me for taking her off her drug. She shit all over my bed to let me know how pissed she was that I stopped her drug. And then, I just had to tolerate it until she got adjusted, like going through the jonesing and everything, because I know what it's like to go through it, because I was a heroin addict and I had to go through that shit. And she went from being shaped like a pear. She slimmed right down, and she was able to jump up in trees and on fences and everything that she could not do before, because she was eating that shit. But it took just a few months, maybe 3 months, to get her weaned off all of that and onto good food. And then they were starting to bring home birds and rats and mice and doing what cats are supposed to do. They're not supposed to be eating this stuff. If you read on the label some of the stuff, you probably couldn't even say half of it. But then when you see that natural flavoring, it's in the animal food now. Oh, and I don't know, I just heard Peggy say that that they're paying the veterinarians to not take the animals to help them, and people are taking this dirty, evil money. Their whole profession was, you would think they went into that profession because they cared about animals, but now they're taking kickbacks and money and being closed and not available to treat the animals. But like Darko, who I follow, he pushes this, and he's a veterinarian, and he said he just tore up all his licenses because they're licenses to kill. He says all he was doing in the end was vaccinating animals and euthanizing them, killing them and poisoning them. So he just quit doing it. So don't trust these people are doing it for the money. They don't care about your animal, especially, like, I don't know, some of the stories I hear, like, just my friend just took her cat to the vet. He charged her like $300 and some dollars for whatever the office visit was, just to tell her, you're going to have to come back tomorrow and we'll put them down. So he could charge her another, I don't know how many $100. I'll have to ask her. I think it was like 600 and something. Just to kill the animal. I don't know how, it's just awful. We should be able to figure out a way where we could do it ourselves. If we intuitively know that our animal is in such distress that it shouldn't be living, we should learn how to do that, I think. But just don't tell anybody about it. Don't tell your neighbors. Don't, just your closest circle or something like that, because they'll friggin' report you, these fucking zombies. I used to be so about helping mankind, and I don't say humanity. I don't know why that whole human word does not sit right with me. I do not call myself human. I don't really identify as anything, but I still say mankind. But I remember, just because of being an empath, I've always, like, my heart just went out to people, and now it's like I don't even know that if they're people. So I have to be more selective, or more try to be in tune with what's real and what's not, because we don't even know what the hell's going on. You don't eat old cow liver. How do you know if it's old? When I get the liver, I get it from, there's a town over from here that does butchering. The farmers bring their animals in to have it butchered, and then they give them back to the people. They pay to have it butchered, but they keep the livers. And the livers, I buy them fresh. I know they're not, well, some of them are packages with dates on it that you can see how old they are. But I buy them just when it's been slaughtered and it's still a new whole thing, and I have them cut it in quarters. I mean, a whole cow's liver is probably like 10 pounds or so. I don't know. It's like $7 for a whole liver, and I have them cut it in quarters and then freeze 3 of them, and then just keep feeding my cats the other, till that's gone, then take another one out. But people don't want to be bothered with that. They'd rather pay for a big bag that's been packaged, who knows how long it's been in there, with all kind of garbage. That's all this added crap that's not healthy and not necessary. It's just pretty toxic and poisonous. They said what was the protein? Yeah, if you can find good food, it's nice to eat it. But most people don't know what good food is. People think they know what good food is, but they have no idea. We're down to literally, there is no good food in the supermarket. I don't care if you shop on the outside either. Vegetables are not healthy for you. And I know a lot of people here are going to bitch about that or whatever, and you can defend it all you want, but plants are indigestible cellulose. And this in the Bible, if you go by the Bible at all, I mean, I'm not a Bible person, I'm not religious, I'm not Christian, I'm not anything, but the forbidden food in the Bible is starch, which is the carbs. Starch. So you can justify it all you want, but it is not healthy. We cannot break down cellulose, and we need to hydrate ourselves, and we're not getting hydrated through the plants. And now I've got, I just see it so clearly. These plant-based foods are coming from an industrial plant. See how they trick you? The word wizardry that they use on you to think it's plant-based, all right, industrial. Just like canola is industrial oil from Canada. That's what canola means, Canadian oil, made to use on trucks and cars and machinery and all that shit. And people are buying it. It's in everything now, canola. They think that they call it butter when it's friggin' margarine, and margarine is 1 molecule away from plastic. Well, with what kind of waste, Ray? They fertilize with waste. Now, I might disagree with you on this, but I don't know what you're referring to. What waste? Yeah. Well, veggies were never good to eat. Vegetables are sentient. All plants are sentient. They are more sentient than animals. And yet all these vegans who think they got it all figured out have no idea what they're talking about. Plants were never good for us. That's why they gave it to us. That's why they promote it everywhere. That's why they match you with your food stamps or whatever at the farmer's market, and because they know it's not good for us. When they give us anything for free, you are the product. Yeah, it's rapeseed or grapeseed, right? They're raping us with that. I don't eat it. I never did fall for that. And then I researched it and found out, and I just knew most of the oils are not good. Even even olive oil. People think olive oil is such a good thing. I don't know about natural news. I'll have to see what they say. Okay, so oh, well, I don't know what kind of waste it is, but I believe that the waste, like, okay, just urine alone, you could pee on your garden and you are fertilizing it because it's, what are the letters P and P that it makes up the fertilizer? That's phosphorus, nitrogen, and what's the other P? Potassium. Potassium, nitrogen, and phosphorus is what they use, and that's exactly the composition of your urine. So there is actually urine therapy. While everybody makes fun of people who drink their pee, they have these people who make fun of these people haven't a clue about health. They'll be pushing the vegetables, and the healthier ones will be the ones. Now, I don't think you need to like drink lots of urine. You could probably just put a couple drops, and you put your finger in your stream and just put a couple drops, and you're going to get the benefit of it. Well, the plants being more sentient are, they are highly sentient. They work the same, like what's the word I'm looking for? Telepathically, but because, okay, they don't want to be eaten. Their only defense is the anti-nutrients because they can't run away like an animal. So that's how it's different from an animal. An animal has the ability to run away to protect itself. A plant does not. So it has these anti-nutrients in it. I mean, you can look up this information. It's not going to be like the first thing if you Google it, it's not going to give you the first. People have got to go beyond Google, or at least go way to the bottom of the Google to find the answers to this. The first few are like not likely going to answer your questions. Okay, well, you just have to look it up yourself. You don't have to agree with everything I say. You can go along doing whatever you've been doing, and just, this is stuff that I've been people don't realize how long I've been ahead of this fucking curve. I've been watching the things happen that most people were born into already and have no idea was happening before they showed up on the planet. Before, they still think it's a big bang event. Of course, they're going to put that sexualized word in there, the big bang. Has forever chemicals and microplastics. Also, humans liquefy. Oh, you're saying that's what's in the waste? Forever chemicals, microplastics, and liquefied humans? Possibly that's what I think is they're putting in the food. People have no idea. And people are defending the food. They're defending the fucking system. They got like Stockholm syndrome. And they think that, you know, like we're the crazy ones because we're awakening to this stuff. And I've been doing fasting for like 8 years now, fasting and detoxing. I fast like 18 hours a day, and then sometimes I'll do a 3-day fast or a 6-day fast. The most I've ever done was a 10-day fast. Um, Actually, it might have been a little bit longer than that, and then I started losing weight, and then I had a hard time eating. I had to get my appetite back. So now I'm probably a little bit overweight, probably 5 or 8 pounds or something like that. I haven't weighed myself in a while, so I don't know. But I was eating some bread. Like I cheat like almost every day. It's hard to not cheat because I'm so limited with what I eat. And most of my calories and nutrition comes from the dairy, which is mostly raw. I used to be able to get raw cream, which they don't have anymore, and butter. Now the butter is probably still okay, but it's not considered raw. I don't think. I don't know. I'm gonna have to check into that and see if I don't know. I'm gonna check that more. But I know they used to have the cream, and then a couple years ago it disappeared. It actually disappeared. Like I was getting it here in Washington. Then when I went to Idaho when I was doing the whole Owen Benjamin thing. I was able to get it there, and then it just like they didn't have it for a week. Then they didn't have it for 2 weeks. Like the supply was dwindling and dwindling until it just totally disappeared, and then I couldn't get it at all. Okay, Rod. Thanks for stopping by. Have a good one. Enjoy your weekend. See, I can't read the rest of his little comment there. So, okay, so um, does anybody have any input for the black goo? Since we're doing the G letters today, that's why we're doing the graphic arts. That's what I'll just call it. Whenever I refer to the graphic arts, you'll know what I'm talking about, right? Nobody? Nobody knows anything about the black goo and stuff? Does anyone here know of Harold Vella Katz? Harold Katz Vella. He's a German, for lack of a better word, scientist. He's been onto this stuff for a long time, for well over a decade. That seems to be what he's most associated with, is the black goo, correct? I mean, I've known him talk about other things because I've been listening to him for the last 8 years at least, I think. And he was talking about it back then. He was talking, and now he's talking still about the graphene too. He talked about both of those. It is supposed to be intelligent. Well, what do you think it is? Do you think it's or what do they say it is? First of all, if you look it up under like Google, what'll be like the first thing that pops up that they want us to think? Yeah, he's pretty darn intelligent, all right. You could tell he's probably been like hit up from, you know, how they do shit to us. And the people who, if you're not getting attacked, that means you're not talking the right stuff. You're saying what the system wants. If your life is all nice and kosher and cozy, and you have all your little everything and stuff, and you're not having any problems, you are not going to make it through this. I'll tell you right now. For you think that your life is so stable and nice, you're the ones that are not going to make it. You're not even, if you're all sitting back and enjoying life and everything's cool, you're not being prepared for what's coming. What are we talking about? The venom? What's the venom about, Jake? I don't know what you're referring to here. I get it all carried away in here, and I got to watch I don't raise my voice because I get all excited and everything, and then they're fucking. I'm at the library where it's supposed to be quiet. No, it is not best to find primary literature and studies because they're just going to tell you what they want you to know. I think that's the problem, right? Don't think I don't know who you are. It's oh, okay. See, I don't know movies, and I don't know like cartoons and stuff. Like I quit. I was reading something I wrote back in 2002, which is 22 years ago, and I didn't even realize I knew this stuff that far back. The things that whatever it was, whatever was there written, and it's like, wow, I knew that then. I didn't even realize I knew that. I can't remember what it is right now, but I do. I have like I've been onto some of this stuff for so long because I've avoided so much, especially the tech. My whole body just cringed and just knew that this tech was evil and bad. I maybe because I'm an empath or just because I'm intelligent. I don't know, but I am very intuitive. And when my gut gets riled up or my bullshit meter goes off, and it's been doing this for a really long time. Now my daughter's like a normie, and she does remember me talking about some of this stuff a long time ago, but she's not connecting any dots. She doesn't believe in this stuff is happening because she's under the mind control, which was her words. And so I try not to go too much into it, but I feel I'm in this like between a rock and a hard place with this because the stuff that I know, and she's too under the spell, and she's got to go along with all her peers and stuff like that, and she's just like everybody else that is a normie that can't handle this, and they just blot it out. They want to protect their abusers or whatever, and it's just I can't, like, she's vaccinating herself and the baby, so I don't know how to approach her. It's like I keep using the analogy like, okay, so people are in a movie theater, right? And they're watching the movie. They don't want to be disturbed. You don't want to break their little bubble or anything. But there's a fire out in the lobby. So, okay, let's not say anything because we don't want to interrupt their movie. We're literally in a fucking movie. We're watching a screen and all this shit is happening and it's about to get worse. And I'm not supposed to say anything to her. I'm supposed to let her burn. Is that how it works? So you can imagine, like, a lot of people I'm starting to not bother with, just go away. And like, I can't, I mean, I still try to talk to people and try to wake them up or try to explain things that would be helpful for them to know. But for the most part, they don't want to hear it. Oh, we have the olives. The olives are here. The the symbiote from Spider-Man that is parasitic. You'll have to explain that because I don't do those things. It's Spider-Man's rival. Okay, what is the rival now? I'm kind of lost down there. Went off on a tangent. Okay, you could tell us what you mean by that. Okay, I've seen interviews with people who are severe drug addicts and they know about the technology. They can feel it somehow while under these heavy drugs. Well, yeah, especially if they're the psychedelics. The psychedelics are actually healing. are healing plants, and especially LSD and psilocybin. And I'm designing a protocol, like a treatment that you get the effects, like there is like the psychedelic treatments that you're actually taking the drugs. But I'm trying to create a system or a treatment of getting the same effects without the drugs. So, and it involves breathing, deep hyperventilating breathing, uh, music, like evocative music, and body work, massage, and working on different points of the body and helping break through the release all the trauma and the memories and all that stuff. So it's a very healing thing. But it takes like hours to do it. It's not like just your 50-minute massage and you're good to go. It ain't like that. So, but I still have to, I want to get more treatment like myself so I can learn to, so I know what the other person is experiencing. Now, I have had a lot of this kind of treatment, inner child work, and body work, and all this kind of stuff. I've done this for 50 years. Well, maybe not 50 years on myself. I mean, I was treating other people, but doing some of this more in-depth stuff, like I've done a lot of that. And I started that more. I actually started my spiritual journey in 1984, of all years, when I was 33. About how that for numbers. They are. It's so crazy to be with around people that don't recognize. So the reality that we experience is way different. And I remember talking to my daughter about this, and she agreed too. It wasn't like, I mean, we weren't arguing about it. She said she felt something, but she didn't know. And I said, "Do you think it's a shifting of timelines? Can you?" She says, "Yeah, I could see that." What's smart, because it's getting harder and harder to find clean drugs these days. Yeah, I wouldn't. I'm glad I'm not no narco addict now. If I was, oh my God, I'd probably be dead. I don't know, because look how many people are dying. I just had a friend die last year from fentanyl, and he was just a beer drinker and a pot smoker. He was not a drug addict. I know people. I'm a therapist. I know how, and I've worked with people. I've worked with drug addicts. I've done all kind of like therapy with them, and the group therapy with people going through treatment centers, and individual one-on-one, and sponsoring girls going through NA. So I've had a lot of, experience, professional experience too, that like I can help people and stuff like that. But like now it's just like scary to like, um I don't know if you guys ever see like, they have around the clock cameras in Kensington, which is outside of Philadelphia in Pennsylvania, here in the States. And what was I going to say? Shit, I just lost my train of thought. Oh my God. But so Seattle is like that. Seattle and Portland are pretty much the same, as maybe not quite as bad as Kensington, but it's pretty bad. So I don't even like to go near Seattle now at all. What is depicted as a black goo? What is? When you add up the year, 1984 turns out to be 13. I don't have anything. 13 is a good number. They have people like spooked out like it's some kind of eerie, evil number, and it's not. These people that's doing this gematria stuff are just making fools of themselves. Like Casey, sorry Casey, but you are making a fool of yourself. And they make everything fit their narrative. It's like, oh, in this cipher, oh, in this. But if you put it backwards, or if you turn it upside down, it's like they're going to do all these manipulations to make it fit what they want it to be. So like, okay, it's like, it was like almost his birthday. It can't. almost exactly. Almost exactly is like an oxymoron. It doesn't exist. It can't be almost. It's either exactly or it's not. You can't say it's almost or it's almost something. It either is or it isn't. I don't know. My least favorite numbers are 4, which is death, but I just don't have any connection with 4s at all. My numbers, funny enough, are 3, 6, and 9. You see my phone number and my phone number ends in 3333. I asked for that and I got it. My email, if you see my email, it's 3333 catsy333 at Gmail. So I have this thing with the 3s, the 33s, and my life numbers are 6 and 9. I always use 9s because it's the completion number, and I count in series of 9s, and all the 9s that are like associated with 9s, like that are divisible by 9, like 18, 27, and on and on. Okay, so let me see what Aurelia is saying here. Primary literature is the original literature from the author himself or researcher himself before they receive any sponsorship, and is usually published in scientific or peer-to-peer journals. And they're the ones I won't listen to. No. Anybody that gets published, unless it's self-published, I will not even read it because they are in line with, yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's typical normie thinking and logic, but that's not true. The people who get the Nobel Prizes aren't even all good. It's all bullshit. People don't see this through the bullshit. You're about the only one here. I don't know. So just because these people are all dumbed down, the more degrees you have, the higher education, the more indoctrination you get. The only exception I find to that rule is if you're in a trade of some kind. If you're learning a trade, like to be a mechanic or something like that. So I think a lot of these numbers they throw out to get people distracted, to talk about them and to be afraid of them. It's all about fear. Everything is fear, fear, fear mongering. And people, the basic one fear, if you could get over it, they couldn't control you if you did not have a fear of death. Because what is the biggest fear in this world? Fear of dying. Prove me wrong. If you don't like, I'm not afraid of dying. I'm more afraid of living. I don't really want to be here, and I'm not going to do myself in. So if anything happens to me, it's because the system or the matrix or the machine, whatever the hell you want to call it, is doing something to gang stalk or gaslight or whatever. I have a feeling, because it's gotten close a couple times already, that I might be taken out in a car accident. And I was just saying to myself last week how good of a driver I am. And then boom, the next day, a car pulls out of a parking spot, hits me as I'm going by, wipes out my whole awning. The whole bottom parts were just chunked right off. And I saw him in my rearview mirror back into the parking space and get out. And then I called the cops. The cops came and made the report that he was fine where he was, but he had moved his car after he hit me. And then I had no proof of anything. I mean, not that the cops, they're not there to really determine who's at fault. They're not supposed to, but it seems like they might be doing that now. These cops aren't who you think they are. They're not good guys. Especially you see them now with all their tats and all their gang. They're like fucking gangs. So this guy, after they did the report and exchanged our information, I left and went up to the hardware store to see what I needed to do to try to fix my door, which got jammed shut. I can't even get in and out of my RV. And it jarred the top, which was already damaged. It like, there's a hole in the top, and I think that from the impact created like a shift in there. And then when it was raining that night, it started dripping through the roof. So now I'm in an even worse situation with that. It's like literally raining inside my RV. It's bad enough there was a hole in the top and the air is coming in, and it's, it was really cold, and now it's getting really hot in there because I can't open any windows because I have a tarp over it that's blocking the airflow. It's just, I don't know. I just feel like that might be the death of me, either in that RV, which I felt like was a spiritual attack when the first incident happened, and then this happened. So then this guy comes up to me at the Ace Hardware store while I'm there. He comes up and he says to me, he says, "I saw what happened." He was from Florida. He was driving through. He says, "I saw what he did. He pulled out as you were coming by. I was way over by the yellow line. I was not near him. And he pulled out and then he pulled back in. And that guy saw exactly what I saw in my rearview mirror. And he's the only proof that I have that it was his fault." And he's a Cuban guy, so he's got like a really strong accent. So I don't know, but I have his phone number and he's willing to vouch for me. And that's the only thing I had that was in my favor. And he came up to me afterwards because I went down like half a mile away or something, and he came over to where I was and started telling me about what he saw and gave me his information. Oh, hi Denise, see you there. How you doing, hon? Yeah, the law of opposites are for me. Yeah. So I was just saying how good of a driver I am, and the night before, and then this happens. Then I said, okay, now I'm going to try to like not be so condemning of the police. I'll try to see them as like good people really trying to do a job. And then this cop just does a job on me, and he's the one that kept coming around and making me leave the parking spot I was in. Tell me I'm not targeted. And then after I left there and went to a different spot, he followed me down and told me I was too close to a fire hydrant. And I was like, I don't know, 20 feet away from it or so. I don't know exactly how long. I wasn't that close to it. So he made me leave, even though it was like midnight and I'm half asleep. He doesn't care that I don't feel safe driving down the road when I'm like just woke up out of a sleep that he disturbed me from. And so when I talked about the accident, both times I noticed, I said, "Oh, I got to stop this," because at first I said something and he reacted. The second time I said, he got majorly triggered. Majorly. He started talking about taking me in, or maybe I need an evaluation because I said I don't feel safe driving in the dark and where I didn't know where I was. And then he tells me to go to another city. In the middle of the night, I'm going to get up and drive to another city. Sure. So, and then he says, "Oh, you're really trying my patience." It's like if he loses patience over something that simple, he should not be a friggin' cop. And I didn't call him sir either. I called him dude. I mean, I didn't specifically, I just came out of my mouth. I just don't want to give them the respect of a sir. So, I mean, right before this happened, I had just made the decision to try to be more understanding, not like, and then this shit happened. It's like everything I try to do good, they're going to try to undo it. What do you mean? It started as the redcoats versus the redcoats. I don't know what that means. against themselves. Because I think what they're brewing up right now is another civil war. I believe that's what they did the last time, and they're going to do it again, only under different circumstances. It's not going to be like red versus blue, north versus south. It's going, there'll be a combination of things. It'll be real people against the zombies, I guess, or the against the not. I think that's a setup right there. But they're doing some kind of mind control or some kind of consciousness manipulation to create this condition where people are angry. And also, I noticed all these new buzzwords they're dropping to bring this about, so people will fight with each other and not unite against the real enemy. So they want the people to fight each other, kill each other, so they don't have to do it. Watch and see if that doesn't happen. I'm saying it right now. They are creating this civil war. And I mean, they got the whole racial thing already wrapped up. They got the whites against the blacks or this or that. I mean, all these distractions and divisions and separations to keep people not coming together. That's why I want my channel to be a place where people can come and join together in a common cause and help formulate ways that we can fight back. That doesn't, I mean, I don't want to say what I think because I don't want to put it out there, but really, if you think about it, then doesn't that seem logical that that's going to happen? I mean, it's not going to be this country against that country because it's the whole world, and we're all sort of coming together and realizing that we are what they're doing to us, how we're being lied to and manipulated and fed toxic poison shit. I mean, I've been watching this for a long time. And people want to call me out on it, like these people that they don't have any common sense, let alone, logic or anything. They just are not, they're not in the right minds. So I have to be careful to like avoid them or whatever, so I don't get into an argument with them, because that's not going to really solve anything. Because a lot of people are just looking for fights. And so I just started to say how they're dropping these new words. Okay, one of them is, I've noticed in the comments, people are saying how pissed they are. Now, not to say that that was never used, that word. I'm just saying that it just upped a lot in the last couple weeks, almost like month. Say a month, they started, all of a sudden I see all these comments about how I'm boiling mad. That's the other one. They're boiling. Their blood is boiling. That's the term they're using. Their blood is boiling. Watch and see if you don't see it. Count the times so that next time I have a live stream, I'm going to ask people, how many times did you read or hear somebody say their blood is boiling or how pissed they are? Because this is all anger loosh. And my new slogan, I should get a t-shirt made that says starve the loosh bags, because they are just in full force trying to get everybody angry and into a negative spin. They're just like, they just want everybody to be angry, and then they end up fighting with each other. So I have to learn to like walk away from people when they start to, I don't know, whatever they do to like the lady banging on my thing. I could have fought back and said, you have no right to do this. You don't own this fucking street, woman. She's lucky I didn't get out and slap her upside her head or something. I do have street smarts. Like I said, I was a heroin addict. I was in the streets. I was the chick that they had go up to the ghetto, up to the what do they call them? The projects, and score for everybody. Everybody give me their money, and I'd go up and get it for everybody and bring it down, because they were too afraid to go up. Dudes sending a woman up to get their drugs. So I survived it. That was in Pittsburgh, but then I ended up in Phoenix. Actually, Phoenix is where I actually No, I was doing, I don't know, I probably did some coke or something before that. But I do not like coke. I do not like any kind of amphetamines or speed at all. I mean, I've done like speed 8 balls, they call 8 balls, speed balls, where they mix heroin and cocaine so you don't, so it keeps you up and alert while you're, stone high, like from whatever. But I was always a functioning addict. I always went to work. I made money. I paid for my own drugs and everything, and I ended up paying for my boyfriend's drugs, which ended up being a big no. I'm not supplying yours. You get a job and get your own. I'm not buying them for you. And he's the one that choked me out when I had my near-death experience, when I literally died from suffocation from being strangled. Oh yeah, we're guinea pigs, and it is black magic. Which laws did they pass there? I don't plan on being in this RV for. I didn't. Once that first thing happened to me, I just knew that this was. I just felt like it was some kind of a psychic attack or um, something telling me that this don't count on this vehicle at all. So all this money that I have to keep putting into it just to barely keep it going, like I just replaced a battery, and it's still not working. I don't know what's the problem there, but it didn't. It fixed the problem a little bit, like I wasn't constantly having to go out and jump the truck to get it to start. But it was somehow it's draining it, and I don't know what's causing it because I also had the alternator replaced. No, the starter. So it's just like I'm keeping it barely going, but I don't want to invest in a whole lot of money because I don't plan on keeping it. The thing is like a death trap for me. So it's not going to be good for me to keep staying in there. I just bought a new, what do you call it, a tarp. I had to get a 20 by 10 by 20 foot tarp to replace the tarp, which has now got holes in it, and the water's coming inside of the RV. So I got to get that replaced just to have a place to not be like dripping rain in there. Yeah, I'm starting to wonder, like looking around to wonder who's real, how could there, I don't know. It's just like, how do we tell if people are real or not? Anti-friendly. I remember my daughter will remember this because she started to do it herself, which was kind of cute. I really thought that. Because every time we would go out together, like to the stores, to the co-op or whatever, I would always interact with like the clerks or whatever, and I would always make them smile. A lot of times I'd make them laugh. Even if that didn't happen, I always made them smile. And my daughter noticed that I always complimented them. I would point out like their nicest feature, or if they had pretty hair or whatever, but I'm a hairdresser, so that's something that I would normally do. And so she started doing it. It was so cute. And then after this stuff happened, after the whatever you want to call it happened, the 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 clerks were acting like they were Gestapo. When they put up the screen, the what do you call those, plexiglass things, like germs can't go around them. Not that they do, because I don't even believe in the germ theory. I don't believe viruses are real. If people only knew that these viruses are just concoctions and they're playing off of the flu that happens twice a year when you detox naturally. How you doing, Denise? I haven't seen you. You haven't been here for a while. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, Ray, that if they weren't already, and are you saying, wait, you're saying NPRs? What's NPR? I thought you meant NPC. Yes, I do have Zelle. It's on my about page, I think. I haven't been asking for, and people are just awful the way they treat you. Oh, that's cool. On the phone or in person? I try to compliment as much as possible just to make people feel good, and it's just my nature to want to see people smiling. Okay, that's what you meant. Okay. Uh oh, you had your hip replaced. I didn't know that. Oh, how you feeling, hon? I'll send you some long distance Reiki. Or was this like, okay, is that the year of 2016? Or what do you mean by 716? I don't know. You could probably even Ray, you could even do it when you're on the phone. Yeah, well, like it's okay, I'll read your thing what you said about you it said that Blaine, you had to think of me because apparently RVs can't park in the city center or business district or in any city car park between the hours of 10 p.m. and 7. Do you realize how limited that is? I can't even go into the town because where I've been staying is not like in the downtown part of Blaine. It's on like the outside over by it's like a shopping center. I can't park in there. And I parked at there's like a little park there. It's called Lincoln Park. And I the cop came and made me leave at 9 o'clock. Okay, that was the first incident. He was cool, but he told me about the new rules or something. Then I parked on a side street that's the signs literally say 24-hour parking for, I don't know, for the big trucks and for RVs, recreational vehicles. So I was in a legitimate parking spot and he told me I couldn't be there. He says, "Oh no, now you can't be in this whole area, this whole block that goes like it's almost like 2 city blocks square." And then he said, "And you can't park in town either, downtown." So there's like the only thing I can do is go onto the side streets and hope somebody like that bitch don't come out and start beating on my door like she's so entitled. Okay, what? Yeah, you could try to kill him with kindness, but he's gonna die. Oh, okay, I missed something. I read it. I have to go back a little bit then. Oh, okay. Oh, so you still haven't had the surgery yet. I get it. Okay. Is that what you mean? Because I thought you said you just already had it, and then I didn't understand the date. So it's coming up in July. On July 16th, you're going to have your surgery then. I see. Okay. I don't know who Jeremiah Babe is. Is that a guy? I guess. Just posted a video using the word bloodbath. Ooh. So, and that doesn't draw any attention or get like a hate speech or whatever they're doing. Economic dude. I don't know what they talk about, financial stuff or whatever. I don't know. I don't listen to those kind of channels. I don't. I only listen now. I've been like unsubbing to a lot of channels, especially the one. Do you know? Have you noticed this new download that people are taking, this mind control of the religious thing now with the Jesus and the just? It's getting so obvious. I don't know how people can't see it. Oh crap! So if it doesn't serve me somehow, I don't like a lot of. I've just been unsubbing to a lot. If it doesn't immediately affect like how I'm living, because what I'm doing right now, a lot of people don't understand what I'm doing. And everybody, thinks that to get help is to get a place to live in some place I don't want to be, that I have no control over. Because if I'm going to live ever in a house again, it's going to be my own house that either I built or had built to my specifications or had, friends help or whatever. Because I never had, friends help or whatever. Because it's all about what's in the walls, the dirty electricity, the light bulbs. Like my daughter went and gave away. I had been collecting incandescent light bulbs for like decades, knowing that they were not going to be available anymore. How did I know that? I don't know, but I did. And then they came out with the LED bulbs and gave them away to everybody for free. Oh, is it time? Okay. All right. Thanks. Okay. A few more minutes. They're going to be closing down. So it's because it's Saturday. They close early today at 5. So this is not normal. I was going to go. Normally I go to the farmers market on Saturdays, but I just couldn't today. I just couldn't. I said I was going to do this, so I didn't know when else I would get a chance to do it. And it's over 20 miles away, and the gas alone just kind of offsets it. And they didn't have all the things that I wanted. Oh, you're back again there, Jack. Um, did you see the new Canadian law they're trying to pass? You can go to jail for life for speech. Oh yeah, I just saw something else too that they were saying. They're just doing all kind of ridiculous stuff. Are you in Canada, Denise? Because my daughter's in British Columbia. I don't. For some reason I think you might be in Canada. Okay, Ray is saying I'm living day to day, my whole life, no guarantee for manana to me. Yeah, I don't. You're welcome. Um, thank you all for coming. So I guess I should just start closing down because they're going to be closing down the library pretty soon. So thanks for showing up, for coming, and you could, if you have a certain day or time that works for you, if you want to put it under the video, it should stay up. I don't know what they're doing anymore. Who knows? You could put down a particular day or time of day, and then I'll just go by what people say and try to average it out somehow so I could. I used to do it on Sundays, but that's when I was down in Bellingham. The library is open there, but this one is closed. Or I would just be still doing it on Sundays. I was doing it like in the late afternoon. So I thought maybe doing it earlier might help. So whatever you think is good for you, put what's good for you, and then I'll just try to balance them all out and see if I come up with a like kind of a happy medium to try to please as many people as possible. So thanks for coming. Thanks, Jake, Ray, Aurelio, Denise, Joshua. I don't want to miss anybody out. Jared. Okay, and some people was here and left, so okay. Yeah, enjoy yourself. Keep smiling. Fuck that stay safe shit. Stay happy, stay laughing, stay smiling, stay creative. Be creative, guys. Oh, somebody just came in. Oh yeah. See, somebody knows, and people do not everything they think it's so cool to have LED. And my daughter goes and gives them away. All those ones I saved up that could be like almost like value, like, oh, you know what they're saying now? I'll let you think about this after you go. What's worth more now than gold and what's the other one? Oh, Bitcoin. What's more valuable than gold and Bitcoin? I bet nobody guesses it. Got to have at least one question, like a little game before we leave. So give you something to think about. Anybody know? What is going to be, if not already, more valuable than gold or Bitcoin? Well, seeds, probably if they're heirloom, can't be just seeds in general. It has to be good seeds. Yeah, heirloom. Okay, that's not what I'm talking about, but they'd probably be worth a lot too. Here's the answer. Did you think that was going to be the answer? I bet not. Yeah, sorry you got here, Laradiant. But yeah, I have to go because yeah, it's sperm. I have to go because they're closing down the thing in at 5 o'clock. So so there's your thing to be thinking of. Save it up, dude. Josh, save it up. Okay. So y'all take care. And until the next time, I'm out of here.